Oh, okay. I'm sure we'll be fine. Um,
Hopefully you got most of that.
yeah.
So he was ripping on Matthew McConaughey in the
I
last
didn't
segment.
mean to like. I wasn't like. I just. Anyway.
No, I don't think you said anything inappropriate. I think you were kind of addressing the elephant in the room, which is you have a filthy rich man up there basically self-promoting because there's
Look,
no value behind anything
the
he's saying.
problem
It's
is
not
he
going to make
actually
any difference.
he actually is trying to put weight behind a movement, but does he really? What does he really stand for? What like you can't just go like, hey, I grew up near this place and I'm rich and some kids got shot up and now I'm irritated about this. You have bothered, you have drawn my gaze. I am Matthew, I'm kind of gay. And I'm focused on you. Like
Okay, so
it's not fair
here's
that
the
he
thing.
didn't.
I'm sorry, I don't want to
No,
ruin your
I'm
train of
good.
thought.
No.
The people that he's speaking to are the choir. The people who need to change aren't going to listen to him unless this comes
dude,
out.
look, man, this is gonna be a stunt. Like you pulled a great stunt.
I think it was a pretty
I don't think
transparent
you're
stunt.
promoting a movie. I think I feel like the man has actual feelings. I mean, how
Yeah.
well could he play the guy in Time to Kill? I mean, but really, like,
You can lose yourself as an actor, I think. You can lose yourself.
dude, you could have picked another time to vocalize your fucking argument, and that time would have been, I don't know, 5 years ago.
How about a time to not
Maybe
kill?
when you
That
were
was cheesy.
popular. Like that would have been a time.
He was pretty popular in the
God, why am I so
mid-90s.
angry? Like, man, I don't want to be mad at this man.
Well, this is the kind of thing you get pissed about when somebody has a lot of money and they're talking out their ass, basically.
If I had his money, I could change so much. But instead, what? You're gonna like, dude, well done, well played is really what I want to say. But that would only discount your incredible acting talent. Right? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, no one needs to hear from you or Tom Cruise or any of you fucks, man. Like, you guys.
No, you know what?
You could actually change the world and you don't. You choose the platform and you ride the backs of 19 dead kids.
Okay,
man.
I'm going to say something really disgusting and fantastical. If Ted Nugent,
about time for something new.
John Voight, Bruce Willis,
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. That's what I was thinking of. Let's think of a few others.
Michael Douglas, Kirk Douglas.
No, I'm thinking of. Are they all Republicans?
I don't know. There's a handful of Quades.
Okay. Stephen Baldwin.
There's a handful of Baldwins.
Let's say okay, but he's the.
Let's just say we got it. Look, let's say we got a handful of Baldwins, a handful of Quades.
No. Okay. Because I'm talking about devoutly conservative celebrities.
Okay.
If they got up there and said the kind of shit he's saying, that might light a fire under the base of the people who need to be persuaded.
Well, you're talking to the guy that played the Lincoln lawyer. Isn't that your boy, Lincoln? Get the fuck out of here, man. That dude died.
The guy was
155 years ago. Like, come on. And I don't care if I got it right. It doesn't matter. Because all I do is I look at you guys and I say,
like, what do you think it's like to be so disconnected from reality?
Thanks for that, Pac-Man. Go.
From one not so rich guy to all the rich guys. I think that he is completely wasting time and space, and it's kind of gross because
I would like to think that if I had that level of financial weight, that I would bring it.
I wonder how many
But
people
you
look
know
at
what?
me and say, if I had that kind of financial weight.
But you don't understand that Matthew I'm Kinda Gay is small potatoes. One might say a Lay's potato chip
Mhm.
is what this guy amounts to in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Right? You're talking about guys that look at each other and go, I remember when I made my first billion.
Right. Right. But he could do a lot with what he has.
But it doesn't matter because he's not going to get together with people that are, I mean, look, rich people don't share the same ideals as us. They just don't. And I don't know how else to state it other than that. Wealthy people do not understand.
I was talking during the break about the Oscars, and I wish that every Oscar winner would go up there, thank who they need to thank, say how honored they are,
I'd like it
and
if
then
they-
go drop 100,000 on, I don't know, Planned Parenthood,
I'd be better.
a homeless
I'd be happier
organization.
if they literally didn't show up. But who are they saying and fuck you to? More rich people? Like, no, rich people telling richer people to fuck themselves is very much pointless. It's obvious how they act. Like, look at this guy.
I'm not talking about telling them to go fuck themselves. I'm talking about quietly making a difference and not announcing it.
Look, they don't look. Imagine.
Did you hear
Like,
what I just said?
yes, and
Okay.
I agree 100. I wasn't going to argue with you. I was going to say, imagine if a bunch of Hollywood stars formed a union and then they all just quit and just decided not to act. You know what would happen? People would lose their minds.
Well,
if
you know
Tom
that
Hiddleston,
kind of did happen. That kind of did happen.
there was a writer's strike.
There was a
but-
writer's strike, and it
so
jammed everything the
writers-
fuck up.
Come on. We're better writers than most. of them.
Okay, it doesn't matter because Lost was postponed for a whole fucking season, and
I
that was
mean-
a big deal back then.
Well, you know what? I never watched Lost because I had a life. So, sorry, I was living things and doing stuff.
Okay, but
Didn't have time
But
to
Cowboy
watch it.
Bebop is a thing.
Yeah, it's
You-
something I fall asleep to. What? I can always watch it again. But does my life revolve around
My
it?
life did not revolve around
I
Lost.
didn't say you, but it's interesting that you went right with that. I'm going to say that your life didn't revolve around it, but many people's did. Now, the idea that Matthew I'm Kinda Gay can totally come out and say, yeah, I did that. Say, hey, you know what? I'm sick of these shootings, and then now everybody's paying attention. Like
No.
now everybody's paying attention.
No, that's why I said John Voight. Even just John Voight, if he got up there and gave this speech, how do you think that would go
Look at
over?
him, peace, son.
I wasn't sure.
alive.
Okay, yeah, he is doing that.
And
I
this
thought maybe he
particular
was
drawing
doing
is
air
a,
quotes or something.
It's a self-portrait, all right, of Aletha drawing with her friend in heaven.
Okay, look, man. Look, you're doing it all wrong,
You're
bro.
focusing on the wrong thing.
You're doing it all wrong, man. I haven't heard you say until actually after I watched the whole thing. He's just like, it's the guns. And
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're.
Everybody who gives a shit has already cried about this.
Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you, Matthew, I'm Kinda Gay, run against Ted Cruz to Cancun cruise? Why don't you run against him?
There
If
you
you're
go.
actually so effing passionate about it, why don't you run? Why don't you take Cruz's seat? And then maybe we'll be happy, right? I mean, at least you can act sympathetic. Who knows if you will be or not? I don't know. I just saw a blobfish. So anyway, like this is the guy.
Down on her, drawing the very same picture.
I'm so sick of this.
It's the note that him up there focusing the way he's focusing. This is what I was doing 2 weeks ago. Now I want action. And that's what he should be doing.
I could go on and on. But
Left to die.
Can you see her? I want you to picture that little girl.
dude, stop acting like you care and care. Like, you're a great actor.
There is no
Blah,
try,
blah,
there is
blah.
only do.
I don't give a shit. Look at him crying. Dude, it's almost like it's scripted. I don't understand why he couldn't speak passionately about this whole thing. I don't understand how he literally could not speak from the hip. Like he couldn't do that. He couldn't pull that off. Right? Like he could slugs. He couldn't pull this off. He couldn't pull this out of his ass. He couldn't speak from the heart.
You know what he could have done?
Watch him read. Look.
You know what he could have done? He could have taken that bill.
Been a human?
Well, I think this is a human thing to do. How about he speaks with data? If he has so much gravitas, bring up the bill, the Save Our Children, the Save Our Kids bill, and read it. That's what we did. And then
Dude.
say, how the fuck does this contradict the Second Amendment? If the first part of that bill had already been in effect, Uvalde shooting would never have happened.
Hey, boy. In Texas, we don't have emotions.
We have guns.
We have guns, boy. I'm like, what? And then we're going to listen to this guy? Like, no, I am focused.
Innocent bodies
This is bullshit.
who had their entire lives still yet to live.
Yeah.
And that is there.
Duh.
They could have acted alongside of me. Like, dude, too little, too late.
I mean, duh. Yeah, their lives
Go
are
back
over.
to playing your
Duh. I
Go-
mean, why
go
are you
back to
bringing that
play-
up now?
Go back to playing naked drums, right? Look, I'm going to go full devil's advocate. Pun intended.
Oh, because of random
Why
flag?
don't you get on it and go back to playing drums with what's his face? Who's the bald guy from Cheers? I don't know.
Is he
Who's the
bald
guy
now?
from Cheers? Now he's bald. Yeah. Anyway, who cares?
We're probably talking about different guys. Is he the one who said
No,
having sex with Whoopi Goldberg
Cheers.
was like throwing a hot dog down a
nah, I don't know.
hallway?
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything
Okay.
about that. But who? Wow, why can't
I didn't
remember?
watch that show.
Jesus, you didn't watch Cheers?
I had a life. Hello.
I didn't watch Cheers,
Okay.
but I know who that dude is. But I, for some reason, can't think of his name.
He's not important enough for you to remember.
Didn't think about it twice. But Matthew McConaughey, like, look, man, I get what you're trying to do, bro. I get it. You feel bad because you're a human ish. But man, like, you're gonna roll up here in the White House and be like, look, what I have to say is very important.
I think being a famous actor is kind of like the frog in the boiling water. You start
Gravitas.
out, the water.
People are screaming
no.
at me right now. Look.
The Douglases are good, but Sam Elliott works. Okay. So you have a struggling actor, and I'm guessing because of the roles he played, he was in my friend's movie, and that was kind of low budget. He wasn't very famous. And then you start to build up and you build up and you build up and you get rich, and the money means less and less as it becomes more and more. And
I got it.
You
Look,
lose track of who you are.
there's Ted Danson and in Cheers. There's Ted Danson, and there was. Come on.
I
Why
did
can't I
not
not think
fucking
of
watch
his
the
name?
show.
This would be a great trivia question.
And
Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
You know who he is.
It's a good thing you didn't eat this, because then you wouldn't even remember Ted Danson.
Wouldn't remember your name,
Probably not.
All right. Hey, we'll be back in a moment. I am the Judo.
I am your Ms. Parker.
This
is Nothing But
I-
Live.
Matthew McConaughey. Oh.
Okay, do we want to be